Hey, so Bold Peeps, we're about to start Bold 2.0 in Jackson, Mississippi, right? It's late, guys, and I just couldn't wait any longer to share this with you. Start practicing this now so that as we move forward with the Bold material in August, wowza, your business is going to explode. Chris Voss shares in his book, Never Split the Difference, negotiating as if your life depended on it, and some key ways at looking at yes and no. Now, many of us know these, and at the same time, we typically have a relationship with no, right? So when someone says no, that's the end of the conversation, right? Or is it? So let me share some of the thoughts that you can immediately focus on that will empower you to view no as the starting point, not the end. You can use this whether you're setting an appointment for the listing or the buyer appointment or having dialogue about price or any of the other things that come up in our everyday life. Pushing hard for yes doesn't get a negotiator any closer to a win. It may even anger the other side. So for good negotiators, good communicators, no provides a great opportunity for you and the other party to clarify what they really want by eliminating what if they don't want. See, no is the start of negotiations, not the end of it. See, great communicators know this. They actually seek no because they know that often when the real conversation begins, right, is when they get the no. Now, these are the things that you might want to take note of. No can often mean, I'm not yet ready to agree. It can mean you're making me feel uncomfortable. It could mean I don't understand or I don't think I can afford it. It could mean I want something else. It can mean, I need more information or I want to talk it over with someone. So ask solution-based questions. What about this doesn't work for you? What would you need to make it work? Right? It seems like there's something here that bothers you. See, people have a need to say no. So don't just hope to hear it at some point. Get them to say it early. On the flip side, we often think, right, yes. It's yes, right? Is it? See, there are three kinds of yeses: a counterfeit yes, a confirmation, and a commitment. What does that mean? A counterfeit yes is one in which your counterpart plans on saying no and either feels yes is an easier escape route or just wants to, wants you to go away, right? Think of it. How often have you ever been on a listing appointment? Seems like it went well and they're all, we'll call you, we need to think it over, and you walk out and then it's a ghost. Well, that's that type of yes. Now, a confirmation yes, it's generally pretty innocent. This is a reflexive response. It's to a black and white question. It's just simply affirmation, and yet there's no promise of action. And then a commitment yes, this is the real deal. It's a true agreement, and that leads to action, right? A yes at the table that ends up with a signature on the contract. The commitment yes is what you desire, and yet there is knowledge in knowing that there are three types of yeses, right? Did you just learn something? So there are the three types of yeses, and they all sound almost the same, so you have to learn how to recognize which one is being used. So whether you call it buy-in or engagement, enrollment, or something else, good communicators know that their job is to gently guide their counterpart to discover that their goal, that it's his or her own goal, right? Using all of your skills to create rapport, agreement, and connection. We work on these things in bold, and yet it's only useful with your counterpart when that connection, when they actually, the other person feels that they are equally as responsible, if not solely responsible, for creating the connection and the new ideas they have. Through the intensity, though the intensity may differ from person to person, you can be sure that everyone you meet is driven by two primal urges: the need to feel safe and secure and the need to feel in control. Those are the things, those of you who've been in a bowl before, you already know this. You're thinking right now, you're thinking pain and pleasure, right? The pain of not being in control, the pleasure of being safe and secure. Pain and pleasure are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and these two things guide all of our decision making. If you, or at least 90% of them, right? If you satisfy these drives, you're in the door. So you might even think about, instead of starting with, do you have a few minutes to talk? Maybe, is now a bad time to talk? Either way, you get a yes, it's a bad time, followed by a good time, or a request to go away, or you get, no, it's not. And guess what? They've just given you total focus. So as you can see, no has a lot of skills. No allows the real issue to be brought forth. No protects people from making and lets them correct ineffective decisions. No slows them down so that people can freely embrace their decisions and the agreements they enter into. No helps people feel safe, secure, emotionally comfortable, and in control of their decisions. And no moves everyone's efforts forwards. Another way to, so we also want to, sometimes we actually want to empower the other person to say no faster. the example I just gave you on the script. And so, you know, we sometimes we actually want to get to where we can trigger them to say no faster, right? That's why maybe it's now a bad time to talk. Can be better than, do you have a few minutes to talk? You have heard, you know, so often every no gets us closer to a yes. Well, now you know a little bit more about that. So I trust this gives you even more insight in getting closer to that yes. Stay tuned. I'm going to continue to share some insights as we prepare to launch Bold. If this was helpful for you, and I trust it was, who can you share it with and utilize as the conversation starts to enroll them in Bold 2.0 with you? Well, that's all I have for you. Alivia Roberts, MAPS Mastery Bold Coach, signing off. Be bold.